The city of Wichita still working to recover nearly 10 days after a cyber attack took its systems offline.
The city shut down its systems in an attempt to stop the spread of malware, leaving Wichitans with many questions. 12 News reporter Rachel Hallam explains what you should do if you're concerned that your information has been exposed.
The city of Wichita has been dealing with cyber attacks to their city systems for more than 2 weeks now, leaving Wichitans with far too many questions. Tuesday, the city announced files had been stolen. Those files contained law enforcement incidents and traffic information. Names, social security numbers, driver's licenses or state identification, and payment card information, all possibly included. So how can Wichitans protect themselves? Well, to start, remain calm.
One of the hardest things when there is a data breach and you know your information could be compromised is not knowing when these scammers are going to utilize the information that was retrieved in that breach.
It is recommended to monitor relevant accounts through the city and, to be safe,
contact the 3 major credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, and lock down your credit. The second thing they should do is contact their bank or their credit card companies, and you need to close any of those accounts that you may have used as a payment source.
And to do it quickly.
Before you can shut down the credit cards, before you can put any kind of notifications on accounts or lock anything down, they want to beat you to the punch.
It is also suggested Wichitans should request a credit report from one of the 3 major credit bureaus yearly, or place a fraud alert on a credit file. In Wichita, Rachel Hallam, 12 News.
City of Wichita also providing another update today on water bills, saying existing auto payments are now functioning for those of you who use that. City says late fees are not being assessed during this cyber incident. We still can't get a clear answer as to whether those water accounts and say your banking or credit information they're attached to those, whether that's been stolen. They can't answer that for us yet. You can still pay with cash, check, or money order or by mail. You can also drop off at City Hall. Payments can be made at retail outlets, including Walmart and Dillon's.